ahead and because we got Zeke and we got Kevin still trying to get in. So guys, welcome. It is July 10th, so we had a little break for July 4th. So hopefully everybody has all your fingers. I have mine. I didn't actually light fireworks this year. So just to kind of start off, guys, this is a new session. It's brand new. We have a lot of new people, brand new people. A few of them are in tonight. We got Seth is in, Eddie's here. We got a couple of other people. Chris Bodden. Chris is also new. I've been trying to introduce them in the group as they come in, just kind of saying hello to everybody and welcome everybody. We got about 3 or 4 more that are may come in tonight or may not. So on Wednesday, guys, we're going to start at 5:30. And I'm thinking about just starting on 5:30 on Mondays, just because it's just to keep it consistent, because a lot of people get confused. So tonight is going to be really the introduction to the funding committee and the concept and the EMD and the transaction and gap funding. It is going to be put into the hands of what I've decided. What I want to do is I'm going to put 7 associates who are the lenders, or they're close enough to, they're pretty experienced people in the money industry that have been already, as far as like a committee. And some of them, in most of their cases, they're lending their own money, and in some cases, they are direct to, the lenders they broker for. And then also, we're going to have an advisory board, and the advisory board will be 5 additional members who may or may not be lenders. They could be just people, maybe they're not ready to lend or they don't want to lend, but people who are experienced that we know that have been around for a while. Some could have been from the 2020-21 program. So I think I got a couple people that in here right now that I have asked. I know Erica, you got all your, guys, if you don't know Erica, she's got 25 years of experience. So she's going to be one of the people on the committee. Obviously, she's got a lot of experience dealing with lenders, and when you're doing her job at Wells Fargo, it's pretty, there's it takes a lot of experience to get that job. So I'll let you introduce yourself in a few minutes. Let me finish up on this, and then obviously you guys know Justin Birch is really good. He's a really good gator. Justin's really tied in with that, and he's really good at underwriting. He's really good at finding deals. So he's going to be one of the people. In addition, Gabe Kuzinski is also going to be involved. He's going to be one of the people on the committee. A couple of the people, Willie Ingram. You guys know Willie. He's awesome. Willie's really good. And then also I've got a lady, I'm talking to her right now, trying to get her in. Her name is Lisa. She's a friend of Willie's. And Lisa's the EMD and gap and transaction funder. So those will be the few that I have invited already. The advisory board will be some additional people, and I'll kind of get with you guys. I also would like to have you guys, kind of the members, the associates, you guys know who you like. And so the advisory board is pretty much just to help, kind of structure it. That way, Kevin and, Jesse got tied up with some stuff right now. So he's not going to be as available around as much as he was. So just this advisory kind of board will kind of bridge that gap of kind of work done with Kevin and I. While the funding committee, we want to put it in your guys' hands. We want to create it so that you guys, with the EMD and gap and transaction, we have people that come in, they've said they have 10,000, they have 5,000, they have 20,000. Simi is going to be also on the board. Simi's got a guy, and he calls it show money, but he's got a guy that'll just show money up to the EMD, and he'll do $1 million. For $1 million, though, he flies to the closing. You can make sure everything goes right. So Simi on the board. Simi's got a lot of connections, like Willie. So we're gonna have the advisory board can be people that can lend money as well. I know we got a few people in here. I know Chris has told me that. I know Josh and his wife have a little bit to do EMD and stuff for us. So, and other people, Bill and Mel and a few other people. I don't think Mel's here. Mel's kind of working on some projects and stuff. He started with his partner. So Mel may be more or less, and Bill may be more suited for the advisory board. So tonight we're going to kind of put together the funding committee concept, and we don't have everybody here. Not everybody's going to be here that's going to be on it. So I want to kind of get feedback. I want to turn the concept over to you guys. EMD and transaction funders, the gap funders. If it's your money, we want you to basically, it's your terms. It's basically your terms. And so we're going to put something together. We're putting a 2-phase program together. We're putting one for the associates that hopefully, you guys get to know the associates, you're friends with them, you're on all these sessions with them. So you kind of probably build a lot more trust and rapport with them. So maybe if you're going to loan Gap or EMD or something, you kind of give them a little bit of a discount, kind of, a little bit, just, because you obviously know them and they can bring deals. What we're going to use the rest of the associates who aren't advisory board or funding is going to be like ambassadors. You guys have seen that new group that I started. So Kevin and a few other people will be the admins. All the funding and advisory board members will be moderators. That way you guys can bring people into that group. We're going to make that specifically so we have a public facing, it's going to be, it'll still, because I'm tangling with making it public. Obviously, you guys know every group that deals with money and real estate on Facebook is going to get overrun by people. We want to kind of control it. We've done pretty good on this one because I kept it hidden and visible. And so we want to basically have a group that you guys can actually even go in and host things on your own. You don't have to have me to be there to host it. If you want to bring somebody in, you bring Willie in. Let's say you bring a couple guys in there. Let's say Willie and Erica, and maybe somebody else. Chris is doing some stuff, and maybe the three of you guys get together and you want to bring in some people and try to put some deals together. That group will be available for you to do that. You'll be a moderator, so you'll be able to actually be able to host and do your own like live streams and all that stuff. That way, we want to put this program together because we want to be forward facing for the public, because I want to democratize funding. And you guys have seen the Gator program and all this other stuff going on. Let's try to go out and get these people that are solid people, and let's try to help them out.
We can see if we can try to get an experienced group of people that we can put you in front, so there's going to be a lot less nonsense going on. That ought to help streamline the process. And this is going to continue to grow. So hopefully we're going to be able to get other people with like-minded people, as I've been trying to say before, involved so that this thing can organically increase itself. Having people with your experience to be able to go out here and show these people how this works along with us, it's going to make this go a lot simpler, because it is getting a little crazy as far as what's been going on out there and what's been going on in here. So I think this is probably a good time for this to happen. So Nate has the right idea, but again, experience dictates that the more experience that you have on board, the easier and the better it's going to perform. And that's basically what he's trying to get accomplished here. So
yeah, and a lot of it's have standardization. If you guys want to use, some of you guys are coming from other programs, you already may have your contracts. We have all the contract packs. I'm going to be uploading a lot of contract packs and wholesaler packs and all that stuff next weekend. So there's going to be a lot of 7 or 8 documents to go with the packs. They'll be kind of like I'm doing guides. And like I said, I've probably only touched, I'm gonna legitimately say I've probably got about 15% of the guides done. I have a lot more work to do in the guides. It's just going to take me the rest of the month. That is designed so that you guys can go in there and, if you need a new strategy or somebody needs a new strategy, they can go to guides. But if we get somebody who's brand new, never done anything, we want them to pretty much be able to go to the guides and get good information. And then they come to you guys, the funding committee and the advisory board, kind of people who you guys can help put deals together. And then you have people to partner with, you have people to lend money to, and hopefully we bring some more people in. I've had a number of people tell me they got, people who haven't even thought about lending. I had a couple of people that aren't even in real estate that are like, well, if I could, lend money and stuff like that, and I could, make those kind of returns, it's better than the bank. And people are trying to pull money out of banks right now. Like I said, a couple of weeks ago, for those of you guys who are new or weren't on, a couple of weeks ago, I was in my bank branch and in Evergreen, Colorado, of all places. And the branch manager who's been there, my mom actually worked for U.S. Bank like 20 years, 30 years ago. And he's been there 30 years at that bank. So he remembers my mom. But I overheard him talking about that people aren't pulling their money out. I mean, they're not doing anything right now. They're looking for safer alternatives. We'll get into something that Kevin's going to be doing. We're not going to be doing it on Mondays or Wednesdays, but we'll kind of briefly talk about it before we close tonight. But we need to find a place for these people to put their money. Just like somebody has $10,000, $5,000, $20,000, they want to do EMD or transaction, whether you pool it or if you can actually do single transactions. And we're going to have all the forms and all the documentation. So really with you guys is we want both the funding board, the funding committee or whatever, and the advisory board to basically put together guidelines and term sheets, what the terms are going to be, what the tear sheet's going to be for associates. And then when we go forward facing out to the public, I think we could probably do it by October, and just loosely talking about everybody. loosely talking to everybody that's in the group. People are saying, I got 5,000, I got 20,000. So the funding committee will basically do a weekly pool, have, they can appoint themselves, or we want that committee to basically go and go, hey, the 7 of them or whatever, whoever it comes out to be, you go out there and know who has 20,000, who has 10,000. That way they can structure the deals, because you guys are mostly the people that are advisory board and stuff, or funding committee, are basically some of you are putting your own money in, and some of you are like direct, like, you're direct to whoever you're brokering for, or, whoever you're working with. So you guys can kind of put that information together, and where to pull the money from. If somebody's got $20,000 and somebody else needs $20,000 loan, but let's say, Erica, you're brokering, and your borrower or your client needs $20,000 to get a deal done, then you know who to go to in the group and say, hey, we can put this deal together. And that's the kind of what this whole thing is going to be about on Monday nights. It's going to be like, I'm not going to say Shark Tank, because I don't want to like bring anybody in and be like, hey, you suck, like Mark Cuban does. Things like that. It's entertaining, but no, I want to be a place where people feel like they have a safe space to bring deals, because you guys see all over Facebook what happens when people talk about deals. They get ripped apart. And there's a lot of people out there with maybe just some tweaking, and they get ripped apart, and there's some people with some good deals and they get ripped apart. So rather than having these groups, I mean, you guys know Jim and John's group's 325,000 people now. It was 319,000 2 weeks ago when we met on the last Wednesday we met. So I want you guys to, this whole Monday night is about you guys. You guys who came into this program to the associates. Wednesday night's going to be all academics starting at 5:30 on Wednesday, guys. And I have an agenda, 2-hour agenda. Every week I'm going to put the agenda out so you guys know everything we're going to. It tells me in 15 minutes we're talking about this, we're doing this. And I've got a lot more material to give you guys. And then for the newer people, we can actually pull you aside. But we got some new people, guys. Like I said, we've got Seth in here tonight. Chris is in here. Eddie's in here. Things like that. Gabe's back. Gabe, we haven't seen you in a few weeks. What's going on, dude? How are you?
Yeah, I just joined.
Josh and Mika are here. We haven't seen them in a few weeks. And we talked about it over the weekend. We were talking about doing some education for kids, because a lot of people are like, how do you reach out to the next generation and teach them about real estate and really teach them about investing and money? And you guys know, obviously all the stuff going on at schools and stuff, but eventually we can kind of give back out of this group and maybe put a youth program together where we can start teaching kids about, hey, those houses make you money. You drive through or whatever. Yeah, we want to help everybody. Junior achievement's great. I mean, it's like, so that's something I really want to do, but I really want to kind of go around the group. Oh, and we'll probably have a few more people. We'll probably see Justin before too long. I know what Willie's doing. I saw Willie post a couple of times. This is one of the days I didn't see Willie like 30 times. Normally Willie and I run each other about 30 times in the different real estate groups during the course of a day. So I haven't seen him like once today, which is really strange. But so I kind of want to go around this room, and I know let's just start right to my right. Erica, do you want to introduce yourself again? I know some people have met you already, but for the new people, what your background is, and then guys, like I said, I've invited Erica to be on the funding committee. She's got incredible experience, as you're about to hear.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'll keep this real short. My name is Erica Walker, and I have a lot of experience. I try not to age myself, but I'm getting there. I have this is my 25th year in the financial services industry. So I've worked mortgage-related products, loan life cycles from A to Z. I've pretty much touched it all. So what I'm actually now moving more into is the commercial side and the business lending and things like that. So it helps to have that experience in your background in your wheelhouse. My most recent experience, the last 13 years, I was at Wells Fargo as a senior credit officer, underwriting and reviewing things on an exception level. So I've definitely seen and touched a lot and seen very large transactions. I was previously a commercial underwriter with Silver Hill Financial before they switched over to Silver Hill Funding. So definitely have a lot of experience there. But there's absolutely a lot that I've just been taking notes here this evening, a lot that I am here to learn, and, looking forward to helping people, get their deals put together.
Cool. And then, of course, we got Zeke. How are you? Just so everybody can introduce, to those people that don't know you. Zeke's been here since what, April?
April or May, yeah.
Yeah. So, and Social is sending me some of those pictures of those car events.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of cool thing. And you're doing a lot of stuff. He's doing a lot of stuff in Wyoming and Colorado. So, which is great because
she's a master at taking tax returns and being able to basically go through. She doesn't even need bank statements to know what's going on. And the other thing about her is she'll know about what you're getting ready to do before you even tell her what you're getting ready to do. She's that good. So we've had a few conversations already. I'm not saying I'm giving her an endorsement. I'm just giving her an endorsement. So there you go.
Well, that'd be cool.
You could tell a lot when you're looking at documents and everything, and after you look at them, that's all you do for years. It's like going in pretty quick. You don't, yeah. So
you're not seeing the people.
You don't want to waste people's time. So it's like go in, yes, no, move on. That's what we want for everyone.
Let me kind of bring up some friend of ours we haven't seen in a while, Josh, and let's bring up the Darvilles. I know they've been around.
If I can get it. Oh man, the lighting is awful. I'm in the dark. It's just Micah here tonight. Hey guys. So for me, first of all, I feel fairly newbie to all of these things. I spent the last 20 years in a corporate job, the last 5 in corporate finance, doing contracts and underwriting basically for software deals, for multi-million-dollar software deals. So I've got some good portable skills. But since that's over, we've got single family and we've got some flips, some Airbnb stuff that we do. Our own house is an events venue. We're doing some unique things there, but we want to do more and bigger and go more multifamily. And, I was telling Nate about my kids seem to have a lot more interest now. I had my 13-year-old who is not motivated to do much of any work, spent his own $50 on Andrew Tate's real world course, took notes, to put post-it notes up. So he's all of a sudden interested. So I want to get the kids involved. I got a big 401k actually. So I'm going to do self-directed IRA, be able to fund other people's deals, fund some of our own. So lots of interesting stuff there. Happy to work with you guys.
Yeah.
So in other words, your son caught the virus. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, he did.
Make sure we talk about which virus. Let me bring up a couple of people who are going to be, obviously Gabe. Gabe, let me bring you up because I know we haven't heard from you in a few weeks. And guys, Gabe has a lot of experience too, and he's going to be on our funding committee. And he has a lot of experience. So Gabe, do you want to introduce yourself to the new people?
Hey, sorry, I'm dealing with a toddler that's needing a little attention. So Gabe Grzinski here. I've got 20 years background in telecom, program and construction management, and then 5 years, I guess, in financial services. The last year and a half being commercial, mostly focused on subordinate debt, equity, and alternative capital. And then also, we've been investing for, 5 or 6 years. We have a couple multifamily properties here in Texas.
All right, cool. That's awesome. I'm glad to have you still with us. Like I said, with the funding committee. And then guys, we'll do a call sometime or just the committee over the next week or two. I plan on taking the rest of July on Mondays to really put the program together. And then basically a couple months just to do it peer-to-peer, associate to associate, so you guys get your feet wet. We got all the documentation, we got all the systems, processes organized before we ever go to the public. That way you guys feel comfortable, especially, with like Micah and Josh, they have some money they want to do. Chris has some. We have all these other people that are doing it. So I'm going to introduce the 2 more people that have been with us for a while. And then I'm going to go ahead and then, we'll introduce, obviously Robert, Chris, Eddie, Seth, who are newer. Chris has been on. Let me get Doris real quick, and then I'll get you Ari, because I know Ari's been around on the longest out of me, besides me and Kevin. So let me get Doris real quick. Doris, you with us? Okay, if not, I'll give you Ari. Ari, what's up, buddy?
Not much. Just got home. I hate Costco. Let me repeat that. I hate Costco. I go in to buy one thing and I leave $300 later. It's not right. It's not fair. It's non-consensual. You know, I feel violated, and all those other things.
But okay, so yeah, so Ari's actually working on a little bit of a opportunity to bring some funding to the group. So not gonna, you know, he'll be able to get into it more later on when he feels comfortable. Just throwing it out to you guys. Ari's been with us, with me and Kevin and stuff in the PMA group, our private money authority group, and he's on the board for the PMA stuff. So he's really essential, very experienced and knowledgeable as well in on the real estate deals. So you guys can reach out to him. He also has the best. He also has the best background. Other than Willie, Willie's got Mr. Furley. I think they were both tied for best background. He's got the Muppets. First time I saw him with the Muppets, I was like, I almost fell out of my chair. It was like almost like, did I get workers' comp?
Oh, and if Nate and I start talking about public safety, just run, because it's going to go on for like 2 hours.
We won't do that when it's recorded, though, guys. Sometimes it's later on. It's like 9 o'clock, and it's like we're all we get business done, and then sometimes we kind of make that a little bit known that sometimes people can talk about. We always try to make sure the business is handled first. Let me go ahead. I don't know, Doris, are you able to talk now, or? Okay, if not, I will be able to introduce a few other people. Robert Costa's been here a couple of times. He's newer. He's been here since probably the first part of June, so it's about a month. So how you doing, Robert? Are you able to talk or not?
How you doing, guys? Yeah. Name is Robert Cost, out of Chicago, and just trying to learn this real estate and commercial lending. Currently in construction management. Construction.
Cool, awesome. Welcome again. You've been here for a few weeks, and then all you guys that are newer, Wednesday nights is the night you guys are going to do a lot of the learning. Monday nights, like I said, is going to be funding committee, stuff like that. You can bring your deals. We'll have the 7 people. We'll have a few others like advisory board. Everybody that's on the funding committee is somebody that can actually put money into a deal. We have other people that can as well, but we'll kind of put money to the deal. They may be brokering for somebody, though. They're going to be trying to get your deals done, and most of the time with them. We also have, obviously advisory board, and then more people in the group that can fund deals. So just to kind of make everybody know that Monday nights is going to be the deals when you want to bring deals in. Every Wednesday night, we're going to do like a 2-hour agenda. I already have one for this week. And unlike, in the past, sometimes we've winged it. We've done a pretty good job over the last couple of years, but we are going to have an agenda every Wednesday night and you guys will get it. I already posted it, but I'll post it again on Wednesday. So, the topics, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, we know what we're going to talk about. Because we got a lot of information, guys. We got 32 hours scheduled between now and November 16th, and we're probably going to need about 50. So we're probably going to have to pick up some time, some space here and there. Let me bring up Chris Bodden. Chris is newer. He's been in a couple of weeks, but Chris is also somebody who wants to do EMD funding and GAP and stuff. So let me have him introduce himself. Chris, how are you?
Good.
Cool. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a little scratchy, but okay.
I'm in San Antonio, Texas. My W-2, I work in insurance, product management, product development. I've done some real estate investing on and off for the last 10 or 15 years, and I'm looking to expand more into larger multifamily commercial. So I'm interested in the learning that we're going to do on the Wednesday nights. And then as I keep hearing people talk about the EMD and GAP funding, definitely got some capital I'd be interested in bring to work in there. So I want to figure out how to get that going as well.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Let me introduce Adam. Adam, what's going on, man? Buddy, how are you? Can you talk? You want to introduce yourself?
Hello,
Dave.
talking to me?
Yeah. This time we just like to go over and make sure everybody knows each other. And then
All right, then
because you know how many people come in our group and then all of a sudden they said, I've talked to you many times on Facebook, because everybody's
Yeah.
a name. So if you guys, you'll be seeing names together. So, if you feel comfortable, if not, like I said, like I keep telling everybody it's new, everything's going to be Wednesday night. It's going to be more academics, more learning, e-learning, teaching you guys how to actually be a funder, how to be an EMD, how to use the contracts, how to do all that stuff. So Wednesday night is going to be like over the next 3 or 4 weeks, we'll structure this for the EMD gap internally, so we can, that way everybody's on the same page. And then, you guys, it's your money. You can come up with your terms and your requirements. And then my job will be to facilitate and make sure I'm like the back office, like I'm supporting you guys, making sure that you guys have everything together that you need to do it to be successful. And then if you need something like we got the contract packs. I've got 5 different contract packs I'm uploading over the next weekend. And most of those have 6 or 7 different contracts or forms in it. So if you guys have already gone to files and you see the amount of stuff I have, that's about to quadruple. If you go to guides, I'm probably at 15% of guides, so, it's going to be a lot of material for you guys. So I just want to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. Let's talk to Seth. Seth, how are you? Seth actually came in about an hour and a half ago. And then he happens to share the same name as my distinguished partner, who both have the same last name. It'd be kind of weird if you guys somehow were related. So I don't know if you can talk it. Hey,
Nate, I just want to add this piece. And see, Nate's the positive guy with all the encouragement and all that stuff. I'm the guy who's going to poke holes in every single thing I can find. Just so you guys know how this, the personalities here. I'm just going to go and tear your deals apart in any way, shape, or form that I can and find every single bad problem with the deal. So just so you guys know, it's not personal. It's just, that's kind of what I do, is find every problem in a deal.
And we're going to bring in, when we take this out and you guys are doing associate peer-to-peer with each other. When you guys go to public side, Ari and a few other people are going to be really beneficial, because they will almost be like the Undertaker version of the underwriter.
Yeah.
So Seth, how are you? Are you able to talk or not? We kind of hear you a little bit. Oh, okay, cool.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting home, traveling in my car. Yeah,
but
so
are you
I'm
related to Kevin?
I am not related
to Kevin?
I am not. I don't claim anyone.
Cool.
I'm not related to anyone.
Okay, yeah.
Good or bad. So I'm Seth Knapp. I'm in upstate New York. I've been in construction for, I think I'm going on 27 years now, various shapes or form. Right now I'm a commercial project manager for a large construction company. We do about 250 million a year in business. I am in real estate. I have my own construction business. I have a real estate development business. I have a dumpster rental business, which
that's good.
Yeah,
Where
everything. I'm 30 minutes east-ish of Binghamton.
Okay.
So
reach out to me afterwards. I may have a land development deal up in that area.
I wonder if it's one that I'm working on already.
You're not.
Okay.
All right. Cool. And then we got Eddie. Eddie, how are you? Let me unmute you.
Good. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, just, here kind of learning, out in Dallas, worked as an agent for a few years, worked on the wholesaling side for a few years with a buddy of mine. Have a corporate job at the moment with an immigration law firm, but still kind of doing some deals on the side. So, mainly interested in the transactional lending side, because my parents don't have much of retirement, but they do have a good chunk of change. So trying to help them, put it into some places where it may advance their prospects of retirement at some point.
Yeah. All right, you just sent that just to me.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to send it to Seth.
Yeah.
Can you make it so I can send him messages?
Yeah, let me see what I can do. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get so.
I'll just send it to everybody. That's fine. They can have my email.
Just send it to everybody. So you guys, yeah, that's the best
Yeah.
way to do it. I'm like, I've seen that email 1,000 times. I wonder why. I'm kidding. So yeah, guys, so we have a pretty good group. We have about 3 or 4 other people that are new that weren't able to be here tonight. So like I said, Wednesday night, just count on Wednesday night is like going to school. I mean, it's going to be there's a lot more material. If you've been in here for a while, if you've seen this stuff before, the last 6 months or so, we've got some other people that were in the 2021 program. They're coming back in because we're in depth. We're actually getting EMD. We're talking about EMD and GAP and transaction loading your money out. We're also talking about hooking up with brokers, as brokers with lenders, and trying to get into the correspondence lending program. Rock has a great program, and I know Willie and Erica are both kind of working with Rock. There's some other lenders out there that do correspondent lenders. We're going to be introducing them as well. So you guys could actually take your own money and then you could bring in like a broker for somebody and then basically put deals together left and right. I mean, literally.
Does anybody here have a self-directed Roth or 401?
Yeah.
If not, you want to look at converting to self-directed, because with self-directed, you can lend that money out of your Roth and your IRA, out of your IRAs and out of your 401ks. So if you're not familiar with that, I assume, Nate, you're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to have some people that do it already go into detail. Because guys, where I don't have there's some areas like SDRAs. I brokered money. I brokered for lenders, for those of you guys that don't know my background. So basically it was straightforward. I took people to Vizio. I took people to Lending One. I took people to Briscoe. The Big Deal, if you guys ever see the Big Deal that gets put out by Capital Syndicate and Lee Arnold, I brokered that through Briscoe. Briscoe's a family office. They're very, they don't really publicize themselves that much. Briscoe family was huge, and the Briscoes, his great grandfather was like a right-hand man to Andrew Carnegie, it was Carnegie Steel. So they kind of made their fortune with Carnegie back in 1800s and stuff. So they do a lot of stuff with we can talk about companies for the IRAs, guys. The other one is Micah just talked about hers, so she has some experience. She wants to learn from hers, so maybe we can definitely get in touch, have her talk about hers. And Ari's obviously got some connections as well. We do want to bring in some people, and I will, once we know this, if you guys give me questions, I'm looking at myself as I'm on the back office for you guys that are lending money. I'm getting you all the resources, all the contract packs, making sure you got all the good contracts you need. Because I see it a lot of times, and even in the Gator group, I see people all the time like, I don't have that contract. I'm in one of those groups, and I'm like, dude, I have contracts that those guys don't have.
Actually,
so
Nate,
yeah.
If you want, I can reach out to my my guy Ty. He's a financial advisor, but he specializes in self-directed IRA stuff, and maybe we could get him on to talk one night, and he can explain it from A to Z.
Yeah, exactly. We need him to talk about it, and then obviously the deal you and I talked about. Once you're comfortable with that, whatever you're working on, we can talk about that. We got a lot of people, just because in my head I'm thinking about, I'm not including Simi's guy who can do $1 million, but I'm talking about, I think right now we probably could come up with $1 million, $2 million without Simi's guy. That just bolsters it, and people have IRAs. So we want to put this together forward facing, like I said, for a month or 2 months, 3 months, just do it in-house, associate to associate, peer to peer. Because everybody wants to do real estate deals. And then we can actually start with this other Facebook group I got. We can bring people in who are outsiders, the people who the advisory board goes, these people are ready to do deals. Then the funding committee can actually know that they have a good recommendation, that they can actually fund deals. They can be like, they're ambassadors. We're gonna find people, bring them in, and we're gonna, so that way you guys have a place you can legitimately make money. Because ideally, you guys have seen me all post like, hey, you have $20,000, split it up, four groups of 5,000. There's so many EMD you can do for 5,000. If you loan 5,000 week 1 and that the same 5,000 week 5, and sometimes you guys know that you got to put money, you have to send it to the title company, hold it, whatever, for the closing, then you get it back with your return. when EMD is repaid out of the closing. So I tell people, hey, this is a good way to start for the first 12 weeks. To break up into 4. Week 1, you got week 1, you got week 5, and you got week 9. That same 5,000. Everyone comes back with that return. If you're loaning it at 10%, $500, $500 times 12. By that time, you got $6,000. You already doubled your money in 3 months, literally off of your returns. And then you could do 10, or you could just do that 5,000. You could then do that 6,000 and hold that 5,000 back or whatever, and then just 600, and then do that for a year and see how much you come up with. You can start doing 10,000 and 20,000 at a time and watch how fast your money's going to grow a lot faster than it is in the bank. So it's kind of a program, you kind of have to take a little grain of salt. We can program it. Like if you want to put in $20,000 in a single one, you can do that, and you could rinse and repeat, that 40, 50 times a year. If you're going at 10%, you're making $20,000, you're making $2,000. If you just do that twice a month, $4,000. If you do that 4 times a month, $8,000. Literally, you can start watching that money multiply really quick. And then obviously at the end of the year, take your taxes or whatever, and then then you got 100, maybe you start with 50. It puts 100. Whatever. There's all kinds of different. You guys can just play with the numbers in your head, because that's what I've been doing. So I want to set this up where everybody can you loan out what you're comfortable with. And if, obviously you guys are going to learn a lot more about lending, a lot more about private money, how the larger private money industry works, how the hard money industry works, a lot of stuff, what's going on right now with the economy and stuff like that. Some, Rock was basically pulled out of, they just started a program for no income ground up construction like a month ago, and they just pulled back and said they're not going to do it they're going to hold back and watch what's happening right now with the economy. They're actually kind of concerned about it. Simi and I both kind of crossed paths today, both posting the same things about it. So I'm tied into Rock, and if you guys want to get into their emails, Rock Financial Solutions or rock360.com, you sign up for their emails, you guys get a lot of good information, because Rock's one of the big ones, guys. They started with 2 guys out of Deutsche Bank in 2009, and they were doing the mortgage. They were in the mortgage-backed securities division. And so they basically left with their multi-million-dollar severance packages, and got their, for selling all they were in it with Jared Vanette, the guy that basically is in The Big Short. These guys are actually worked in his same office at Deutsche, and they 4 or 5 guys shorted that bank for billions, and they were employees of the banks. So they started Rock 360 out of that, and Rock 360 has loaned out about $8 billion over the last since 2009, and they got everything. They also have an insurance division. They just bought Civic Financial. They bought another one of the major lenders as well, because their Civic's huge. Civic is awesome. So they're going to be doing a lot of stuff, obviously, with the correspondent lender. For those of you guys who haven't heard too much about correspondent lenders, maybe you've seen me post something. A correspondent lender is an awesome opportunity, because they have credit lines. They call them warehouse lines. You guys perhaps have heard of that. So they'll give you a warehouse line of 7 million, 10 million, or 25 million. They haven't kind of really said how they're determining that for the individual person. But if you have a warehouse line and you're a correspondent lender, you can lend that $7 million as if it's your own. Obviously, you have their software, so they see everything that you're doing. So you don't want to go out there and just give it, obviously. But if you have 7, 10 million, or $25 million as a correspondent lending, and then you got your money now, let's say you have $50,000, $100,000 of your own money, you can start doing these deals. You can seed these deals. You can use your EMD money, your GAP money, all that as your seed money to help these people. Then you can go with Rock. Yeah.
So it's an arbitrage deal with the warehouse lending. They basically give you a line and you lend it out with an extra point or two on it, and it's an arbitrage deal, or is it you make points on the
you actually get part of the spread.
Okay, so it's arbitrage.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you borrow from them at 4 and you loan it at 12, you might get you might split the 8% with them, the 8 in the middle. So you're making more than you are as a broker, and it's your money, and you're making the decision. So you basically get to put your own tear sheets together, your own qualifications and terms. And then if you're using your money, you could use your money to seed the deal and show, there's a lot of different ways. You could have your own LLC, basically throwing, hey, this guy needs $20,000. I have to show $20,000 on the underwriting software with Rock or whoever it is, because there's other lenders that do correspondent lending. So it's like taking a private money brokering up a few notches, because they don't just give you $7 million and put it in a bank account that's still in their accounts. But when the money goes to the title company, it would say it's coming from Ari. It's not coming from them. And then you loan out $200,000 on a deal, maybe at 15% or 12% or some, obviously
Whatever, yeah.
And then you
Depends on the
basically,
deal.
yeah, and then you already know what you're getting with them because of the split. And then you could actually still have brokers getting a point or two, and you basically just authorize that on the HUD one and the brokers. So if people bring you deals, so that's what's great about correspondent lending. So guys, you take up your, like I said, you take your 5,000, your 20,000, your IRA, loan is your own money. You have all your terms, you do all the paperwork. That's what we're going to do over this next 16 weeks is get you ready. And you can do it right now. You don't have to wait till 16 weeks. But as you learn how to do it, use your own money for that. And then you transition in a Vika broker for a few. We help you sign up for a few lenders where you're making 1 to 5 points. You're usually making about 1 to 3. There's a couple scenarios where you can get 4 or 5 points. These are larger multifamily, amortized 30-year deals, like Lending One has a program. And then basically you could transition over 6 months or 9 months. Erica, have they told you at Rock what their process is for, because I know Willie has to get to 2 deals a month with them for them to put him in the correspondence program. And so I don't know if they've told you anything about what.
No, we haven't discussed all of that. We're still trying to there's still 2 deliverables that I need to do for the MERS registration.
Yeah.
So I'm working through that, and then.
And guys, you can there's some lenders you can just do the paperwork, send it in your lender. There's some like Rock, they have some integration to do on their software and all their systems and all that stuff. So there are some, like Rock's a lot more sophisticated, guys. Obviously, they've loaned out $8 billion. That's considerable compared to, not that any of these other lenders haven't, Togo's probably done a couple billion. Vizio's done a lot. I know Briscoe's done a lot because they're a family office. I think the Briscoe family is probably worth 8 to 10 billion collectively. So all out of Carnegie Steel. So this whole program, guys, and like I said, Monday nights is going to be, like I said, it's going to be all funding discussions. It's going to be, I'm pretty much going to facilitate. And then the guys that are basically, you guys that are on the committee will basically hear people present deals to you. And then we're going to try to use that other group that I got to filter them in. So that way, they can be in there. There's a face. We can talk about the deals. They can come in and present them. And then we invite, it's like coming on a Shark Tank. Guys, come on. We're going to have 3 or 4 presentations tonight. You guys can basically decide if you want to put, your money into it. You can do it outside the group as well. So you don't have to worry about like, hey, I'm just going to be stuck, with what happens in the group. You're not going to be stuck with what happens just in the group. If you want to do it outside, you can. But you're going to have a lot more resources when you're starting out here. People kind of backstopping you on the decision-making process, the underwriting. And then, like I said, I think I've got the, obviously my domain that I've had for 6 years. I'm going to be using that for the virtual program. And so I'm going to kind of just give you guys a couple of websites just to see what we're doing. This is not going to happen until the end of the year. I'm in a conversation with Chris Galicki, who is a friend of mine, long time, 6-7 years. He's a really seasoned real estate investor. He really keeps on the down low. He's a corporate trainer. So we have this concept and we've been working on it. We also have the fundraising we're still going to be trying to do that we were doing in 2020. But Lightspeed IT is a company that basically does the backbone. They basically provide all the systems and the virtual platform and all that stuff. It's a educational platform. They do Grant Cardone's. They do a bunch of other ones, and it's all really nice studio. They do all these professional videos. They help, they basically give you their program. You have to upload all your videos, and then they have the software you can do like questions at the end of modules. Each module is usually the way that one company does it that I've experienced, and I'm going to put their website, they're completely different industry. And I'll explain why I obviously I have a connection to them because I use their software when I had my storm company. There's a company called Storm Ventures Group, and they're out of Florida, and they do a lot of stuff with contractors and insurance adjusters and things. And so Storm Ventures Group uses Lightspeed like Grant Cardone, and they have modules. If you go to their contractor store link in their website, you'll see two, there's actually three, but two areas that we're going to be doing. One is, you guys have already seen this, is all the contract packs and all the stuff we're doing, packaging that all into increments where people can go and download and get the packs and get the, and you see, if you go on their website, you see they charge a pretty penny for it. And the ambassadors and the people that are working with us will actually get a cut. You know, there'll be some revenue sharing on two different levels. One is just ambassadors, people bringing deals. There'll be people actually then facilitating, teaching these programs like they are, because they have Storm Ventures, they have their university, SDG University, and they teach, it's detailed. They do 5 to 7 minute modules, and each one has like 2 or 3 questions at the end. And you do 30,
Nate,
yeah.
where are we on the whole back office that we had talked about way back when for PMA and, you know, the administrative people and all that? Like, I mean, is that still in the plans, or are we gonna pivot to like all virtual?
This is going to be all virtual now. It's going to be all system. That's completely, I mean, the whole capital raise we've been talking about, PMA is different. We'll address that with the PMA stuff. It's still going to happen. That's completely separate from what this is. Storm Ventures Group guys, they so you could go on and buy modules and take tracks to be, you know, a production manager. If you're in the storm industry, you can take how to doing you know, claims as an insurance adjuster. And you guys see they charge a pretty penny. Where we're gonna be doing is basically, you could come on and you could do the whole multifamily track. You could do a whole multifamily. I want to syndicate. It's going to be 40, 50 videos of syndication, and you're going to have some securities attorneys pop on for 8 to 10 of them, talking about Regulation D, 506B and C. You'll have, you guys can, if you guys are really experienced, Erica, you're underwriting and experience on all your back, you could do some modules and stuff, and people will be able to do different modules and skill sets, and they'll be able to actually record on the platform and then get a revenue cut. There's going to be 2 revenue cuts. If you guys go to Files tab, and if you see anything that says PMA University or PM University, there's like 5 or 6 that are together. You can download everything that Chris Galicki put together for me in 2019. We didn't do it because of COVID. Obviously, we hit that, we were just about ready to execute on that. And the numbers still hold up. So if you guys, as associates, as ambassadors, whatever you guys are doing, your EMD, you want to then bring people in, as an ambassador, you'll get a little cut. As a facilitator, you get another level of cut. So you'll get a little revenue cut. And it's going to be pretty phenomenal. And I'm going to be able to have that. We're going to start putting that together in end of the year, first part of January. Everyone that is in the group, the PMA group, and then you guys, the associates group, is going to get that free for life for beta testing it. So you guys will get to help build it, and then you get a little piece of it. I don't know exactly how much. There's a little bit, there's a couple line items in some of Chris's Excels that talk about, there's a little revenue sharing. But those numbers were projected over like 3 years. And I think because everybody's still kind of a virtual orientation for after COVID, I think the numbers may be reachable faster because there's still a lot of people. There's not a lot. I mean, there's still some live. Rod Cleef is doing his first live in-person multifamily boot camp since the pandemic in Orlando in September. Rod Cleef's a legend, guys. If you ever get a chance to go to Rod Cleef's, and at one point, I think 2 weeks ago, there was a special. I think it was his birthday, and it was like $297 if you bought it, and normally it's like $1,500 to go to him for 3 days. I mean, it's 3 days, and you leave with a stack of stuff like this thick. I mean, literally, it's on your seat when you walk in. There's a little bit over that 3 days. Your stack goes from like this to like that. Rod Cleef is like, if you guys get any chance ever, even just say hi, friend him on Facebook, got my name, say hi to Rod. Rod's probably the nicest guy in the real estate industry that I've ever met. I've gone to a couple of his seminars. I went to one in 2019, his last live in-person event before COVID. And it was awesome. They really go all out, man. You get like the VIP, like steak dinner and all that stuff. So I mean, they have some good food. Not quite like NPLA or Pitbull Conference where you're literally catered by a 5-star restaurant for 3 days. But that's like pretty pricey. It costs us $17,000 for four of us to go. Yeah.
On the multifamily front, if people are really interested in multifamily, like big multifamily deals, I'm part of a multifamily mastermind with Dave Monroe's group. And Dave is a CCIM. For those who don't know, a CCIM is really the expert in commercial real estate. You'll see realtors going, I'm a commercial real estate agent, or I do commercial. They don't do commercial. They don't have the tools, they don't have the knowledge base that a CCIM has. So if someone's interested in a real multifamily deal, like, 100 units, 300 units, 500 units, whatever, get in touch with me. I will reach out to Dave, and he has the tools to underwrite the market, underwrite the deal. He can really tear that deal apart and really make sure it's done correctly and properly, and so that you don't end up. So there's an expectation that all of the gurus who have invested in multifamily and done all these big deals, and I won't mention any names, well, they did this with a bridge lending, with gap lending, and they're coming up on their 2-3 years, and they're going to have to go find money, and they're going to run into a real problem with the current interest rates, and they're not going to be able to lend, and they're going to get foreclosed on. And so Dave is well aware of how that works, and he makes sure that doesn't happen to his students and his people. There's actually a bunch of CCIMs in the group. We have a syndication attorney in the group. So if you're gonna go that route, please reach out to me. So.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, so that's a good opportunity if you guys are interested in that. Yeah, it's a good. And so Chris reach out to Ari then. Like I said, he just sent me the thing. It's a good program, guys. So like I said, if you really want to do multifamily or get into it, that's a good program too as well. Rod's also, like I said, he's one of the best. Yeah.
Please do reach out to me if you want to do Dave's program, and I can sponsor you.
And then also, guys, keep in mind that also some of you, I know Zeke and Doris, you guys were on Jillian's, obviously. So Jillian Sidoti is one of my good friends. She's a securities attorney. You guys will see her pop up once in a while. Make sure you're friends with her. She's done a few free videos. She's kind of semi-retired now, moved to Puerto Rico with her husband and her sons. And it's funny, she's actually like plays in her husband's band now. But she's a really good securities attorney, and she does a lot of free like webinars just on securities issues and things like that. So I always make sure to do a link if it's like her. Merrill Calliser is also another securities attorney, Calliser and Associates that are Dallas, Amy Wan. So as we ramp this up and you guys start running into people that want your money for EMD or GAP, if they start looking and they want to raise capital, we're gonna try to hook them up with Jillian and Merrill or Amy Wan or Jillian's ex-partner Gene Trowbridge. And then there's also Paul Vincent and his brother. Paul Vincent also has I gotta remember. I'll have to look his name up. I'm gonna get his company name.
So Gene is actually part of David's. I believe in the mastermind. He's the attorney that Dave usually recommends. So
because Gene is crowdfunding loan lawyers. He was Jillian's partner. Jillian they kind of split off since 2019 actually. So Gene's awesome.
Small world.
And then Paul Vincent. And Paul Vincent's out there. I'll make sure I get his company. And he's also does some funds too. He also does some funding. Paul Vincent and his brother do real estate law, syndications, and all that. We also have private lender law. And guys, you guys are just coming into the group. I have posted and I have pinned a couple of the resources. My First Dam, which is a national title company. There's also I posted those links in there so you guys know title companies. Another thing that the people that are experienced on the advisory board of funding committee, once you guys, you bring your resources, people can trust them, things like that. When you're lending out your money, you have a right to tell people where the money's which title company is going to go through. We also have private lender law, which is John Hornick. John Hornick's another person I met at the Pitbull Conference. Pitbull Conference is now MPLA Conference. I went to one. We sponsored it as the company with Kevin and my former partner Sean, who's had a stroke and kind of had to retire. We were sponsored there. It was $17,000 for us to go to this conference for 2 days because we had the booth and all the hotel and all for 4 people. But I'm gonna be going to it all 3 of them next year. all three of the MPLA conferences. So we make sure, we're out there, and that's dealing with family offices and hedge funds, private money industry. And Rock was there. I actually met the guys from Rock. I think actually I was at a lunch with them at a table. They had a table for 10 people. Rock was there as well as some other big lenders. So we are tied into that. And the guys also remember that we have that lender list, 850 lenders, and I'm actually going to be putting the 8,000, 10,000 contacts that I have at hedge funds, family offices, and stuff who do real estate, no real estate. All these will be added to it. And then we have that other database of about 8,000 is family offices and hedge funds. Most of them don't do real estate. So we're kind of going to hold that one off in case people have, hey, you want to do a healthcare device or something like that. Yeah, we got those, but those are pretty much going to be held in reserve because we don't, you don't want to have a lot of people just blow through a lot of family offices that don't do real estate when we have 8,000 that we do. So that's another thing I'm going to have done pretty quick because I'm actually going to add those to that 850 lender database. But you guys who's doing EMD and gap and transaction, you're basically going to be out there. Hey, if I can put in 10,000 of my own money, that I can then broker it, or maybe call up if you're not brokering, then you get in touch with one of the people in the funding committee that is a broker, or one of the people that's becoming a correspondent lender. Because then you guys got all these resources. So use the resources in the group to structure deals, not only your own deals if you're going to be buying properties, flipping, things like that, but also loaning out EMD or gap to people in the group or people outside the group. You've got this whole group now of people that are experienced that can actually partner with you on lending or putting deals together. So that's what I said what Monday is going to be about. And I keep going back Wednesday. And we aren't going to do much recording on Monday. I'm going to probably do 15 to 20 minutes. That's it. I'm going to take that off recording. And then it's basically that way people feel comfortable talking deals and people talk, that's what it's going to be about. If it goes 2 or 3 hours, we're going to do that. Wednesday night's going to be very structured, like 5:30, 6 o'clock. I think I'm going to change to 5:30 after this week because some people are expecting it at 6. It's going to be very structured to the minute of what we're talking about. There's going to be a lot of materials downloaded, a lot of materials in the guides and stuff you guys should look through. And, we're going to cover lease options. Go to what I've got in lease options in the guides, because we're going to talk about lease options. We're going to talk about, seller carry and subject to, and, there are things that I'm going to openly say that on a night when we're talking about it, if I agree, I wouldn't personally do some of these things. It's not my strategy. It may not be yours, but you might find 3 or 4 strategies. What I get frustrated about a lot of times, and I see this, especially in some of the bigger groups, people get stuck in one strategy because they paid a guru a couple $1,000s or whatever it is, and that's all they know. But this deal will not allow, deal A would allow it, but they go to deal B and all of a sudden it's a better deal, but they can't do it because they don't have the document packs. They don't have the knowledge on how to make that deal fly. And so the guide section is really going to be wide open on kind of going to that reference point and getting those 15 to 20 posts that are in that guide 7 or guide 12 or whatever guide it is, getting that basic information and then basically pulling in one of you guys who does know that strategy. And you've got $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 of EMD money, gap, whatever, to help them close that deal. So that's kind of what this whole Monday night thing, and this is organic because a lot of people were just coming at me like, hey, I got money, I want to put money into this. And so I'm going to be a front office. The advisory committee is going to kind of be a front office. We're going to basically, eventually as a virtual system AI, we're going to try to automate a lot of this for you guys. It's just, I'm not going to, once the virtual system's out, and then we're going to go back to what we were talking about. We just talked about for a minute. We are going to still be doing a capital raise probably in 2024. It's going to be, we're going to be working with an investment bank on that. And then, so we're not going to talk a whole lot about it in these sessions just because it's still, there's still a couple of different ways we can go on that. And that's for, the group that Ari's in. And you guys will see Anthony Michaud and Angel Marino and Scott Strickland and a few other guys in our other group that'll be part of that. And then we have about 20 people in that group that'll be, that are kind of in that. And then you guys will also be able to tap into some of that. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Real quick, I'm going to introduce Kevin, and then Kevin's we're going to do something. It's going to be kind of off book, meaning we're not going to be doing it officially as part of the Mondays or Wednesdays, but Kevin has a lot of intelligence information and he gets a lot of stuff from Jim Rickards. If you guys know who Jim Rickards is, he's He was the economic warfare advisor to the CIA and MI5. And he's also David Stockman, who was a treasury official in the Reagan and Bush administrations. So he gets a lot of information. There's a lot of stuff going on. So we're going to do a little bit of just kind of, these are going to be like off book, meaning we're like the AMAs. If you guys have seen me talk about AMAs, we're going to be doing these, like just kind of putting out some information that Kevin's getting. And you guys know Kevin's got a pretty good background. His family is a very, very successful in commercial real estate and automotive. You know, if you go in Denver, I mean, you guys can Google it. They don't own anymore. They just sold all their dealerships last year. They own Stevenson Chevrolet, Toyota, Jaguar, Lexus, Subaru, right down the list, like 10, 12 brands. Denver West Office Park, Denver West Village, Cardinal Mills Mall, and they own all that. They owned all that, so they've liquidated it. That's Kevin's family. His uncle started that with his cousins. So with that, you know, if you guys haven't heard from Kevin before, Kevin, are you able to talk now?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of different intelligence sources that I've been able to, you know, like some of them just contacted me because of my work with the Fed here in Kansas City. But the fact is, there are a lot of markers out there that kind of show what's going on outside the United States that show a different outlook than what's being basically sold to everybody inside the United States. And when you put all this stuff together, you kind of come up with a picture that's pretty much unvarnished. So what I'm going to try to do here, you really don't know what you're going to do if you don't know what's coming, obviously. And the idea is to put the intelligence sources out there and people learning how to be able to digest and understand what it is that they're reading and be able to make decisions based on that. So what we're going to try to do is I'm going to end up going over what I come up with like the week before, and then we'll all be able to discuss what's going on with that. At the same time, I'm hoping to be able to actually show you where you can get subscriptions to these and how to get all that list so that you can be getting it at the same time I get it and be able to stay one step ahead of everybody else. Because at this point in time, to be quite frank with you, we are a very, very, very small group of people that really do know what's going on and may have a chance of averting a massive, and I mean a massive scale disaster that's heading at us like a freight train. And having these skills and being able to understand what's going on a very organic level is what's going to save everybody's butts. And hopefully we'll be able to take a bunch of people with us, because to say that I don't like what I'm seeing is an understatement. Let's put it that way. And so far, I've been nails with it for 4 years. I don't have an economics degree. I just have a degree in common sense. And that's what's missing with all the powers that be. They don't have that. And they're running us into a wall that we're never going to be able to get out of. I don't know if any of you have heard about BRICS, but there's a serious threat to the United States homogeny as far as global trade and just basically global economics is concerned, that they're not going to be able to do anything about. That's going to put us in a stranglehold that we're not be able to get out of. And that's starting, I guess, the end of August. So we'll talk about that and be able to get you ways of being able to monitoring what's going on there. And then the strategies as far as investing and how to stay out of this, what to do with your assets, being able to distribute them, not just in the United States, but overseas, how to get that accomplished, picking up secondary passports. Oh yeah, we're talking about all that good stuff because we haven't got any choice but to get that good stuff. And then I'm working on a bug out plan in case anybody's interested, but until I get that established, I really won't be making any announcements on it. But I think everybody's going to understand what that is before we're all said and done. Okay, so, and that's it. Nate will be able to get with you on the schedule as far as when that's going to happen. As he's doing with everything else, he's going to give you an agenda as far as what we're going to be discussing. And if you guys have anything that you want to bring forward, if you want to talk about, get with him while he's putting that together so I can at least see if I can dig stuff up regarding that. That's it in a nutshell from my end.
What I mean by off book is we're not going to be out there promoting it to outside anybody really outside. You guys will just be
not going outside the group. No, it's going to be all within the organization. This is because nobody else will get it, and they'll screw it all up, and we can't afford to have that happen for anybody that's involved with this sake. Just to let you know.
So off book just means, hey, we're gonna set it up as a schedule. Like, hey, it's we're gonna be meeting like Wednesday at 2:00 or something, just optional, and then the group will get the video like we do the recording. Remember, if you guys are brand new, the Wednesday sessions are all recorded. If you are not able to make it, we will post it. I'm trying to post it Wednesday night. I will definitely be able to post it on Thursdays, so you can go and review it, and then you can, if you're looking at what you need to look at, if we're going to be doing lease options, then you can watch it, and then you can go to the lease options sections in the guides. I'm trying to leave no stone unturned, so you guys get all the information you need, and that way, and then you can pull up, the document packs. The documents will always be available for download in files. Guides is going to have all the information literally, and then chats is where we're going to be putting the videos. If you have a problem finding chats, guides and files are easy. They're in the header. Chats is sometimes a little bit difficult for people to find. If you need help, I can, try to put a screenshot or something. I try to put at and try to like introduce people at everyone or something. You can only do that one time a day and hit the whole group. We try to make sure that you guys have every information. You never miss out. What I will say is in the past, we've had 10 or I think our year group was 13 people. Remember, it was like 13 people when you did the 2020. I remember because you had like, all those guys.
I don't remember that far back, Nate. I'm old. I can't remember.
So Ari's group, like our group now, only had 13 people. We've grown to 70. There's still about 10 people that could be coming over from that group. 4 or 5 are really successful, active in real estate. One guy's he went into insurance and he's killing it. I talk to him almost every day. He's making tons of money doing insurance, and I'm like, so Ari's group only had 13 people. Obviously, it was a little easier for me to schedule one-on-ones, do recap and catch people up. Not saying that I'm not going to ever, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say yes, but just kind of work with me if you guys miss something, you need some help, because it's like just I can't like do 70 one-on-ones in a week, at that point. We are going to cap at 100, but, before the virtual program. The reason that we say 100 is that I want to be able to put 100 people into the virtual program to beta it. So that way people are in there. We get a lot of feedback once we got it up and running, and you guys can go do the videos. You can pick them apart, and we can kind of make sure that they're going to be, we want people to come into this program and learn. And then especially if you guys are loaning them your money, you guys have a vested interest in kind of seeing what the program that's going to be teaching them from 2024 on is going to be doing, because it's going to be almost 100% virtual. We're still going to have like one live event a week. And then many people that are involved, as facilitators, ambassadors, are going to be having their own sessions on it. But this thing's going to be pretty robust. I mean, Lightspeed VT has enough firepower in their systems to put out thousands of, you can put thousands of videos on there. You just got to pay for the, as you go up, they take a little bit more of a cut, if you guys see their website. So, like I said, Monday night, expect after tonight, Monday night, these next 3 Monday nights is going to be structuring the deal. So your homework assignment is, if you are somebody who's going to be putting any amount, $1,000, $5,000, $20,000, $100,000, or you've got a connection to somebody who is, to spend the next week kind of figuring out what you got. If you have an IRA, you guys can get with Ari, and we can, and some other people, we can put that together. We want to kind of put make sure next week we kind of have an estimate on what the group totally would have to work with. And then we're going to structure the next 3 weeks, structure this program, get the terms, the rates. Obviously, the associate rate might be different than what we're going to offer the general public. Like, if you're going to go out to the general public at 70 to 10%, maybe the associate's like 8 or 9%. You're still going to make phenomenal money, but maybe, you're going to build relationships with them. They're going to bring you deals, things like that. So over the next week, that's what I want you guys to concentrate on between now and next Tuesday, Monday. Anybody that's listening, if you got whatever money you have, resources, if you're brokering for somebody, the funding committee and advisory committee will be put in place by next week. We'll have it all 7 and 5. There'll be 7 people and 5 people out of the group, and then that'll be in place. And then we will actually go forward. What is it? 2 weeks, 24th. On the 24th, we will actually put it into effect. So 2 weeks from tonight. And then remember, Wednesday night's all academic, guys. And we definitely are going to go at least 2 hours. And then sometimes we'll turn off the recording. And like Ari said, we sometimes ends up talking about fire. Ari and I both have backgrounds in emergency services, so we can kind of go off on some tangents.
We've also both spent some time in the Middle East. We've never really
Yeah.
gotten into that discussion.
Yeah, we're trying not to. I'm going to take a recording, guys. So I thank you guys.